Missouri Nordstrom Rack, just the latest company under fire for these highly visible racial profiling incidents that seem to appear now almost weekly, putting the companies behind them in a communication crisis mode.
Be truthful and be honest and be forthright about it, because you can't lie your way out on these things, and it's not.
John Boyanowski with Complete PR says Starbucks' response is a strong one after this video surfaced of two black men arrested in a Philadelphia store. Now the coffee giant shutting down more than 8,000 stores to hold racial bias training.
And that's what you have to do. You actually have to go out of your way to actually solve the solution and let people know you're solving the solution.
On the law enforcement side, Greenville PD taking proactive steps before a situation like this arises locally.
Recognize that every human being brings biases to the table. We need to recognize that, not let it seep into our work.
Under Chief Ken Miller, they've implemented a mandatory course for all officers in fair and impartial policing.
It really is important for our officers, just when they arrive at a scene or a situation, is to really just approach that based on the facts. And again, not how that person looks, not what that person is wearing, but really just treat them with respect.
In Greenville County, Madeline Hackett, WIFF News 4.
Police who detained reggae legend Bob Marley's granddaughter in Southern California say that race was not a factor. Body cam footage of the incident shows the moment Donisha Prendergast and her friends were surrounded by police. Well, a neighbor reported them as they left their Airbnb rental with their luggage. Maria Villarreal is at the Rialto Police Department east of Los Angeles. Maria, good morning.
Well, good morning. Donisha Prendergast has hired an attorney and says she intends to sue the Rialto Police Department. On Instagram, she describes being left shaken by the encounter, and she wrote in a post that she was left in a very unstable situation. She said, "I got surrounded by police for being black in a white neighborhood."
We are surrounded. We have to have our hands up. Look at all these people.
Within minutes of leaving their Airbnb rental, Donisha Prendergast and her three friends were blocked in by police cars.
This white lady saw us in the neighborhood. Too many black folk.
Officers were responding to a 911 call last Monday about a possible burglary involving 3 black people and 1 white woman.
No, we're taking our suitcases out of the house.
Right, they said like luggage and stuff.
Because there's 3 black people in the neighborhood, of course.
Police let the group go after confirming their story 22 minutes later.
It's about to be cleared up, and you guys are going to feel so sorry.
On Tuesday, Rialto police released body cam footage to counter perceptions on social media that officers acted inappropriately. That video shows Prendergast and her friends moving around freely and joking with police.
She's going to call the police. You guys are amazing. You're so quick.
Police also followed up with a 911 caller, but only released the audio to protect her identity.
I wasn't in no jail, I was just being observant.
Interim Police Chief Mark Kling says his officers are being criticized, even though they were courteous and professional.
Social media is really a challenge to a lot of police departments, and it's because of the inaccurate information that just is like lighting a wildfire.
They're literally my first guests.
Marie Rodriguez owns the home listed on Airbnb. Since the incident, she says she's been threatened for defending the police and her neighbor, who became suspicious because Prendergast's group didn't respond when she waved at them.
Strange vehicles, strange people in a suburban neighborhood, and they're not friendly. She called the police, and I don't blame her.
That neighbor did not want to go on camera, but she did tell me off camera that race had nothing to do with that 911 call that she made. She says the neighborhood has had a rash of burglaries over the last several months, and that's the exact reason why she called. She actually saw an Amazon delivery truck leaving Rodriguez's home just a few minutes before waving to that group. We did ask Prendergast and her friends to talk with us for this story, but they declined to go on camera.
We're back now with Starbucks under fire. Protests, as you know, breaking out after 2 black men were arrested. We're going to speak with Starbucks CEO in a moment, Kevin Johnson. But first, ABC's Lindsay Davis is in Philadelphia, where more protests are planned. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, Robin. A few minutes ago, we had about a dozen protesters outside of the Starbucks here, but because of the driving rain, they're now inside, conducting essentially a stand-in. The video has now been viewed more than 9 million times. 2 black men sitting at a table inside this Starbucks and arrested.
What did they do?
Outrage is brewing this morning over this viral video showing two black men escorted out of a Philadelphia Starbucks in handcuffs by police.
Well, what did they do? What did they do? Did someone tell me what they did?
They didn't do anything. I saw the entire thing.
Police say the men were sitting at a table without making a purchase, and when asked to leave, they refused. That's when an employee called 911, reporting the incident as trespassing. Witnesses, including this businessman who the real estate brokers were about to meet with, say the men were discriminated against for being black.
What did they get called for? Because there are two black guys sitting here meeting me?
I sat in there the other day for an hour and no one asked me to order anything or leave. These guys were being totally calm. They never raised their voices. They never made any, physical motions or anything. They were just regular guys sitting there.
But Philadelphia's police commissioner says his officers did everything by the book.
These officers did absolutely nothing wrong. They followed policy. They did what they were supposed to do.
Anger is boiling over on social media with the hashtag boycott Starbucks. Comedian Kevin Hart is blaming the local branch, saying this is not a boycott Starbucks situation. This is horrible management. The manager on duty was wrong. It's that simple. Starbucks is now apologizing, saying the video is not representative of our Starbucks mission and values. The basis for the call to police was wrong. You can and should expect more from us.
We're going to turn now to an incident sparking anger at Yale University, where a white student called police to confront a black student who fell asleep in the common area of their dorm. That student then posted a video of her encounter with police on social media. ABC's Lindsay Davis here with all the fallout. Good morning, Lindsay.
And lots of fallout there is. Good morning to you, George. Yale University says police admonished the student who made the call, but some are wondering if that's really enough. There is growing frustration in the black community. The headline on one website, add taking a nap in your dorm common room to the list of things you can't do while black.
Outrage this morning over this confrontation at Yale University.
I have every right to call the police. You cannot sleep in that room.
This white student called police on a black graduate student who fell asleep while writing a paper in the dorm's common area. 4 officers respond.
Once we verify that you're a resident here, then we'll be on our way.
Lola De Cianbola unlocks her door to prove she lives there, but police still want to see ID. She turns it over, but is detained for more than 15 minutes when the name doesn't exactly match their records.
I deserve to be here. I pay tuition like everybody else. I'm not going to justify my existence here.
Cianbola tells police the same woman called police on her friend, a fellow student, in March. That student says when he asked her for directions, she responded,
"You're making me uncomfortable. I don't feel safe around you. You're an intruder. You need to get out. You need to leave. You need to get out."
Now growing frustration in the black community. The headline on one website, add taking a nap in your dorm common room to the list of things you can't do while black. Situations like this are becoming all too common. Earlier this week, the president of Nordstrom Rack apologized to 3 black teens falsely accused of trying to steal clothing from a St. Louis store.
This is from our Airbnb host.
2 weeks ago, police swarmed this Airbnb rental in California after 3 black house guests checking out were accused of being burglars. And then there was the Starbucks case, which made national headlines after 2 black men were arrested after waiting to meet someone inside this Philadelphia Starbucks.
Overnight, Yale's president released a statement saying we must neither condone nor excuse racism, prejudice, or discrimination at Yale. To that end, the university plans to hold listening sessions to inspire more conversations about inclusiveness. And of course, it's a national conversation that needs to be had. There's a hashtag living while black, which the point is basically to highlight different examples to say, hey, it's hard out here for black people because the rules are different.
And unfortunately, there are so many examples.
Yeah.
You have
so many.
A second black grad student at Yale University has come forward saying that the white student who called the campus police this week on a black student who fell asleep while studying in a common room of a dorm did it to him back in February. Renaissance Jean-Louis says he got lost inside the dorm while looking for his friend, Lola De Cianbola, the same grad student who was forced to show her ID to police on Tuesday. And Renaissance Jean-Louis joins me now. Thank you so much. This was back in February. You asked her for directions. Good evening, by the way.
Good evening.
To the common room, right? What happened?
She began to interrogate me on spot. She asked me if I was a Yale student. I responded, yes, I was, and reaching for my ID. She started screaming and saying, basically, if you're lost and you don't know where the common room is, you must be an intruder. You need to get out. You're making me uncomfortable. You need to leave. Confused, I turned my back and went to the base of the staircase, and she was on top of the 12th floor screaming at me still.
Did police come? Did she call police on you?
She ended up calling police on me. We found that out when Lolade, a friend of mine, came to the common room, which was on the 12th floor of the Hall of Graduate Studies. And when Lolade came back, she came back with police officers who had told her that they were looking for a suspicious character, quote unquote.
Did she tell you why she felt threatened?
No reason, absolutely.
Why do you think she felt threatened?
I think race was involved, clearly. There is a policy in which you have to kind of just use your residence key to use the elevator within the graduate hall studies.
So this is what I want to know. So to get into the hall, is there security, or there's a locked door, right? Is it to get?
Yeah, the doors are locked. I mean, there's security passes that you got to go through.
Okay, and then even to get on the elevator,
you would have to have a resident key. And this same woman, Sarah Brash, invited me onto the elevator, asked me which floor I was getting off of, and when we got to the 12th floor, she went downstairs. But at no point throughout our entire ride did I even communicate with her beyond the fact that I was going to the 12th floor.
So you and Lolade released a joint complaint, and I just wanted to part of it said, calling the police on a black student because he is lost in any part of HGS and the wider Yale campus is an act of violence. Just because a Yale student is lost does not make that individual an intruder. Sending 4 policemen to the common room in my residence because a black Yale student is lost is an act of violence because of the history of state-sanctioned executions of faultless black men, women, and children. She called it an act of violence. Do you see it that way?
It is definitely an act of violence, not just simply racial profiling, but it sends a message to many black students who experience these microaggressions all the time. That what Sarah told me, you don't belong here.
How'd that make you feel?
This is a place I call home. I mean, I've come to Yale not just for the amazing resources, but the support that I have with just so much faculty and so much Black Graduate Network support that has coalesced around me, and Lolade and I, excuse me, and to see that this can happen at any given moment at Yale is problematic.
But not only at Yale. I mean, we saw what happened in Philadelphia. We saw the women on the golf course. We saw the women in Rialto, California for the Airbnb, and on and on and on.
I mean, you're hitting the point, Don. I mean, we know that you can't drive while black in America. We see that with Philando Castile. You can't walk around at nighttime while black. We see that with Trayvon Martin. And now you can't nap while black? That's my friend Lola. There's an issue that needs to be addressed and that needs to have not only just a conversation within the Yale community, but a nationwide conversation. When is the black person allowed to just be in spaces?
Thank you.
Police were called in because of a dispute about where people can set up their charcoal grill.
But as KRON 4's Hazik Madyoun reports, who is right and who is wrong could be a lesson in community civility and use of resources.
This is exactly what's the problem with Oakland today. This lady right here wants to sit here and call the police on them for having a barbecue at the lake as if this is not normal.
You are listening to the voice of Michelle Snyder. She is using her cell phone to record the woman you see here in this video who called Oakland police because
it's illegal to have a charcoal grill in the park here.
The incident happened a couple of weeks ago here at Lake Merritt in Oakland. Michelle Snyder's husband, Kinsey Smith, says he and a friend were setting up for a weekend cookout like they have done for decades with their families when he says they were approached by the woman you see in the video.
She said that we were trespassing, we were not welcome, and then she turned back around and then like she was like, y'all going to jail.
I think we need to question the policies that have made this woman feel like she was in a right to harass people.
According to this official Oakland Park and Recreation's map of Lake Merritt, there are 6 designated barbecue locations, 3 stationary charcoal locations, and 3 non-charcoal portable grill locations. The Oakland couple were charcoal grilling in a non-charcoal grilling location.
I've seen people barbecue with charcoal for years, and I've never known it to be a distraction or a problem.
It is against the rules, but is it a crime?
It's really incumbent upon all of us to make sure that when we're calling police, it's for emergency purposes.
Oakland City Council member Lynette Gibson McElhaney suggests other options instead of calling the police in this situation.
So I want to encourage people to know when to call police, when to raise a question of regulation with the City Council. Maybe there's a passive way to reach out to us.
Oakland mayoral candidate Kat Brooks looks at the scenario from a different angle.
When you engage law enforcement in these kinds of things, you are opening the door for things going very wrong. You are opening the door for the potential of arrest, right? Like we saw what happened in Philadelphia with those 2 black men, or worse. You're opening the door for physical assault and or death. And I don't believe in this day and age that white folks don't know that.
Oakland police did arrive. Both parties claimed they were being harassed. Officers took a police report, no citations given, and no arrest. Smith was allowed to continue his weekend family barbecue by the lake like he has since he was a child.
I want some kind of awareness to be, you know what I'm saying, like we need to be able to talk about this in an open forum.
And if that happens, it could be the beginning of building a better community. In Oakland, Hazik Medyoun, Cron 4 News.
Excuse me, ma'am. Are you good? I'm not required to give you my name, but...
So you're allowed to use flammable material in front of our office? And like if your name that's flammable, that could blow us up.
No, ma'am, no, it can't. I wouldn't be doing this.
What is your name?
Excuse me, ma'am. I'm just sitting here trying to do my job.
Your name.
Are you
if you're working, you're required to give your name. What's your name?
Oh, no, I'm not, ma'am.
Yeah, you are. Who legally allows you to work here?
My company, man. You can call the number on the side of the truck, man.
Legally,
all you want
who
to.
allows you to work here
ma'am,
and leave flammable material outside of our workplace?
Ma'am.
Flammable.
It's flammable?
Yes.
It is?
We have kids that come in there.
Yes, ma'am. I totally understand.
So what is your name?
Ma'am, that's irrelevant right now.
For the 10th time, what is your name? Who do you work for? And who is allowing you to leave flammable material in front of our workplace? I know you think this is cute.
No, I don't think this is cute, ma'am.
Your kids blow up because somebody like you.
Ma'am, you have a ma'am, can you
have kids?
Ma'am, you're being real disrespectful.
Show all your friends.
No, I'm not. I'm just watching my back, ma'am. That's why I'm videotaping you. I'm allowed to do this because I'm working.
You know where we work. We work here. We don't know the first thing about you.
Okay, ma'am.
You're legally allowed to use that material.
Okay, ma'am.
That's flammable material.
Okay.
And you're not taking
Are you done talking so I can talk, ma'am?
I have asked you 10 times for your name and your company's name. You've given me neither. I'm about to call the cops. So what's your name?
Ma'am,
and what's your company's
name?
Ma'am,
go ahead and call the cops. I'm allowed to be here, ma'am.
Then prove it. What's your name?
I don't have to give you my name. What's your name, ma'am?
Excuse me? Go talk to my boss.
Okay.
I'm calling the cops on
you. Okay. Sure. Thank you, ma'am.
You're not allowed to use flammable material without identifying yourself. I think, you know what? Whoever you show this to, if they don't have kids, or if they don't understand how important it is to keep kids safe, that's ridiculous.
Yes, ma'am.
You're
laughing.
You
have a blessed. No, I'm not, ma'am. You have a blessed day. You have a blessed day, ma'am. Thank you so much.
I really hope you haven't put anyone in danger.
Yes, ma'am.
That's disgusting.
Oh, yes, ma'am. You have a blessed day. I'm just working hard. I'm just working hard. I'm doing my job, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm just doing my job.
It's not legal. Do you get that?
Okay.
It's not legal to use flammable material in front of a workplace and not identify your name
Okay.
and who you work
That's illegal.
for.
Under what statute, ma'am?
What's your name?
I'm sorry.
You'll find that out yourself.
Thank you, ma'am. You have a blessed day, ma'am. I'm sorry for the trouble. Well, y'all see what I go through every day. This lady, she's tripping. I'm just sitting out here working, trying to feed my kids. But she's tripping over my job. It's illegal and all that. She calling the cops. Well, I'll be posting this, you know what I mean? So, it reminds me of the lady on Facebook with the barbecue situation. It's flammable, you know? You can't cook out at a barbecue. Well, I got my cones up and everything, so, yeah. This is what I deal with. Thank y'all.
Now to that That racially charged tirade caught on camera. A man here in New York yelling at two women because they were speaking Spanish in a restaurant, threatening to call immigration enforcement. The backlash growing this morning, and ABC's Lindsay Davis is here, has that story for us. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, Robin. The manager of the restaurant said a restaurant regular was simply speaking Spanish with an employee when the man, who has been identified as a New York City lawyer, lashed out, threatening to call ICE and suggesting that he pays for their welfare. This morning, there are calls for that man to lose his job.
Your staff is speaking Spanish to customers when they should be speaking very bad.
A shocking tirade right in the middle of a Manhattan restaurant.
Every person I listen to, he spoke it, she's speaking it, is America.
An enraged man threatening to call immigration authorities on employees who were speaking Spanish.
I pay for their welfare, I pay for their ability to be here. The least they can do is welfare.
Video of the encounter Tuesday quickly went viral after Edward Suazo posted it on his Facebook page, writing that his wife and her best friend were talking to one of the restaurant employees in Spanish when the man overheard them.
Honey, I'm going ice.
Outraged internet sleuths shared the video asking for help identifying the man. This video is just the latest example of seemingly bigoted or biased behavior going viral. Yale University student Lolade Cianbola filmed herself being questioned by police after a white classmate reported her for napping in a common area. More than 1.5 million views.
I have every right to call the police.
I don't like it. How's that?
This video of a woman being berated for being Muslim, 2.5 million views.
Charcoal grills are not allowed here.
And this woman, caught on camera reporting a barbecue in Oakland, viewed more than 1 million times.
Are you sure it's not because you don't want black people being out here?
It has nothing to do with their race.
Shortly after the lawyer's tirade about people speaking Spanish, the mayor of New York City tweeted, "The city's diversity is our strength, and the people who call this city home speak more than 200 languages, and they are all welcome here." Apparently, the man threw his drink and sandwich down and said he didn't want the restaurant to have his money. When he left, people in the restaurant applauded.
And ironically, on his bio, he speaks Spanish fluently.
And wants to try to get people in by saying, hey, yeah, I speak Spanish.
Wow.